Hello and welcome. Pathfinding is a crucial component of many games. Without it, your locations, buildings, units, and resources are disconnected and unable to interact with each other. Additionally, since there are so many factors playing a role in successful pathfinding, things don't always turn out as intended. This can severely detract from the enjoyment of the game. In our specific case, the performance of our pathfinding is crucial, as well as the fact that it needs to adapt to terrain manipulation. In the previous video, we saw how burst-compiled systems utilize parallel threads to easily perform over 26,000 pathfinding requests per second for 65,000 units spread across a large map at 5 times game speed. However, the path segments were all on a simple grid road network. In this video, I'm not stopping at a simple road grid.
Are you finished, Mr. Slade?
No, I'm just getting warmed up.
As soon as units step off the road network, there's a lot more to consider. In fact, I feel games probably have connected networks of various kinds, firstly for simplifying and speeding up pathfinding, as opposed to the visual element, since your pathfinding can skip over large parts of the terrain in a few jumps by following the predetermined network. But once you go off-road, there are buildings, walls, trees, steep slopes, and whatever else to contend with. For this reason, I have implemented not only a road network searcher, but also one for searching through the underlying hex grid and another for searching through the underlying square grid. I haven't used the hex version for something yet, but let's look at an example of the square grid searcher. Let's say we have a point of interest some distance away from the road segment. Here we represent it by a building with a drop-off point. We add the drop-off point as a node in our road network, but we don't connect it to the network with a visible road segment. Only a special off-road segment. This allows the network to still find a path to it, but without yet knowing exactly how the unit would walk across that last segment. The unit walks up to the last segment as before, but the pathfinding then swaps over to the square grid point search to find an off-road path to the drop-off point. Now, this search is a lot more complex than the road network search. There are way more nodes in the grid, and determining which ones are traversable involves many factors and rules to test. We'll see how many searches we can handle shortly, but let's first consider the memory implications. Every node potentially included in a search requires some working memory to be allocated, and we need to allocate memory for each parallel thread that we perform a search on. In my case, that's up to 18 worker threads. For a road network with less than 65,000 nodes, that's not too bad, but our map can contain 9 million square grid points, which quickly goes into the gigabytes of required memory. What can we do to counter this? Well, for each search, we can specify the local area on the map it needs to stay within. This drastically reduces the memory requirements at the cost of not being able to find very long paths around huge obstacles. The potentially different sized temporary working memory blocks are then actually allocated and released every single time the search runs. But luckily this is lightning fast with native memory, and it never has to go through garbage collection. So, whenever a unit gets to one of these off-road segments, it requests a complex search through the grid point nodes of the area, and builds up a series of Bezier curve segments to walk along, similar to what happens for the road network. There's a bit of tweaking required where segments connect to keep things smooth, but this system allows units to seamlessly jump between on-road and off-road traveling. So, let's stress test this. Firstly, we create a map with various buildings scattered across it. We place trees around the buildings to impede progress and force paths to be found around dense trees. Secondly, similar to the previous time, we create a square grid of roads, this time adding some randomness. Thirdly, we delete a good number of these nodes and their connecting segments. This causes more islands, dead ends, and false starts, increasing the complexity of the network and making pathfinding more difficult. Finally, each building then connects its drop-off node to the end nodes of the closest segment it can find, allowing the units access to the building. Like before, we go straight to 65,000 units, then increase the game speed for more search requests per second. Let's go up to the 26,000 total of the previous video. The game is still running smoothly, although the GPU is struggling a bit with the 2560 by 1440 resolution. Also, most of the stuttering here is caused by recording, which further taxes the GPU. To give us an idea of the speed when taking the rendering out of play, we look away from the action. We're now using all 18 available worker threads rather than the 10 used in the previous video, but we're able to process a similar number of more complex searches at a higher than before FPS of about 90. We can go past 50,000 searches per second before getting close to 60 FPS. Again, the game will become a lot more complex, but it's encouraging to see how much fat the current systems have available for additional processing. The final topic I want to briefly touch on is garbage collection. Working almost exclusively with native memory does mean you have to manage that memory manually, but it largely gets rid of garbage collection and its annoying stutters. Also, here are 2 screenshots of the game's Task Manager entry, taken 30 minutes apart, during which the game ran on 60 FPS performing over 26,000 searches per second. That's about 50 million searches executed. There are clearly no memory leaks or degrading performance over time. And that's it for this video. Please subscribe to this channel, wishlist and follow Minor Deity on Steam, or join the Discord server to stay up to date. All the links are down below. Also feel free to ask specific questions you may have. Thanks for your time and support.